For the longest time, success as a YouTube golfer came down to three things: game understanding, talented play, and innovative strategy. But Bob Does Sports does absolutely none of those things, or don't really, and they are honestly just normal guys. But maybe it's that which makes them just so damn awesome.
For Bob Does Sports. Are you joking me?
Here comes the thunder.
3 over after 1. Then I went double on the second. The harder you try, the more the level of disappointment. This game gets my blood bubbling like you wouldn't believe, Jet.
Alright, so I've been watching YouTube golf for a very long time, and for most of that time, the biggest creators, the most successful, were huge golfers and golf fans, and had been for a while. Guys that had been in the game for years, and were either teachers or reviewers. Then GM Golfing Good came along and changed that a little bit to good golfers playing games, and all the while making a rather boring game quite fun. Bob Does Sports, when they started YouTube, were barely golfers, and yet their channel blew up almost immediately. Their earliest videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views, which is honestly unheard of unless you're collabing with someone or you've already had a YouTube channel before. But their first real video to go viral was one that got millions of views because Bob surprised, or I guess you could say tricked, Joey Coldcuts into believing they were going to Torrey Pines and instead playing one of the worst rated courses in the area. That match showed off their incredible chemistry and absolutely hilarious banter, but they were able to do this because they had a base of an audience that they had been working on elsewhere, because Bob had been slowly making a name for himself on Instagram for years.
Bonnie's here, DOS. JT, that polo vest is dynamite, brother.
Talk dirty to me, Big Red. Oh, no. Oh,
Tony, big fan of the green camo today. Loving it.
Bob, or James Robert Berger, picked up social media while working at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Four Seasons, where he would work his way up the totem pole by using his communication skills to be friendly to clients and make friends with one Joey Coldcuts, who would slowly become a major factor in Bob's businesses going further. Because after growing a little bit on Instagram, he decided to open up a podcast that would really open the floodgates for his content online.
I am listening to the brilliantly dumb show.
Coldcuts is pushing, no disrespect, Coldcuts 245.
Sir Jordan?
Belfort.
Tell me something, boy.
Do you have the balls to tell Wahlberg that you hate
I gotta tell you what, Mario. What an unbelievable patch of lettuce you got up there.
Here, Bob, alongside Joey Coldcuts and guests, would riff off each other, have some pretty high-profile speakers on there, and would just shoot the shit and have a good and silly time, showing off their comedic sides and entertaining viewers, but it had very little to do with golf. They just spoke about whatever they were interested in, whatever they wanted to, whether it was Hollywood or drama or sports. They were the entertainment, not really the topic or the venue or anything like that. And that is one of the key things amongst these boys that Dave Portnoy also noticed. Back while Bob was still working at the Four Seasons Hotel, he got an offer from the head of Barstool, one of the largest content companies in the world, to join his team and start making content for them. However, that also meant moving across the country to New York City, which Bob wasn't really too jazzed about, so he took that as a sign that he was doing something right already, and so he put his head down and kept posting. It was also around this time in 2020 where they created a Patreon happy hour for their viewers, where viewers could pay a little bit extra to join them on a Zoom call and drink with them. And it was in those meetings that they would meet one man that would be absolutely instrumental to the growth of their YouTube channel, but he didn't come into play just yet. However, at the same time, Good had been blowing up golf on YouTube and changed what it meant to be a golf YouTuber, from professional and simple to exciting and fun. And so, leveraging their popularity on the podcast and about 100,000 followers on Instagram, jumped onto the platform and took off almost immediately.
It was doing pretty well for a new channel, but that doesn't mean everything was perfect.
The team couldn't even afford to pay their editor and filmer Jet at the very beginning, but he believed in the project and stayed with them. The connection between the boys on camera resonated with the viewers, as they weren't just guys on their screen, but rather it kind of felt like they were just more of the boys, making fun of each other, drinking and shanking shots all over the place. And that is realistically what golf is for a lot of people, especially guys that get into the game later in life, right? It's kind of just a social event, less of a game, meant to spend time with the boys and touch some grass And the Bob Does Sports boys were virtual embodiments of that. However, they did have one problem. It was really silly. That's already very different than what other golfers were doing, and something that I think could have led to a less long lifespan online, because they just didn't play good golf, and that's what golf viewers on YouTube were used to for the longest time. And then, like Superman, at the exact moment Lois Lane needed him, Fat Perez swooped in to save the day.
Bad man, Jet. I'm a bad man.
Big McElroy.
This could be a real quick video.
Perez checking in here from work tonight. Fat Perez.
It's not good, Bob. My asshole manager drank all the beer.
From their first meeting with the boys on their podcast Patreon happy hours, where he was at work in his cubicle slamming beers, they immediately knew that he was gonna be something special for them. By the way, guys, I also have a Patreon, but I take stuff a little bit more seriously than they did. I just posted something about a little rant about the Open Championship to talk a little bit about that. If you want to check that out, that's at the link below. Enough shilling though, because Bob Does Sports was crushing. With Senior Perez here, the boys continued showing the wild golf course adventures while also now bringing some really good golf. Again, something that viewers on YouTube had become pretty accustomed to. They played games and were genuinely some of the funniest people I've ever seen online while they were doing it, and with that came a lot of collaborations with other large channels and even more famous celebrities, and that's because the guys, just as they had with the podcast, just felt like more of the boys, just fooling around and being themselves no matter where or what they were doing. Kind of like an older and maybe slightly less serious Good with a touch of country club adjacent comedy. They didn't just add themselves to a new niche inside YouTube Golf, but instead kind of created their own, where the content wasn't the course they were playing or the story they were telling or even the golf they were playing or the games they were playing, but rather the interactions that would occur, the dumb yet understandable conversations they would have, and the wild journeys they would go on together. Add that to their hilarious team of guys that all fit the mold of the same goofy characters trying to get through the day and fighting demons while they were at it. Well, together they've basically risen to the very top of this normal guy / comedy golf niche, above Barstool, above just about every TikTok golfer and short form creators. And if you left it there, they still would have done absolutely great. But Bobby Not So Fairways, Joey Cold Cuts, and Fat Perez wanted more, and they went out to get it. As they pushed this brand even further, they were going on to produce several different types of content, bringing out outrageous collaborations with Fireball and Callaway, and they even brought out their own alcohol products that fit absolutely wonderfully with the brand that they have created online. And considering who they are and what they're like, it's actually something that I want to go out and buy, be a part of this guy club that they've kind of created. And I'm not the only one noticing.
Today, you got the YouTube Golf Championship.
Give us a moment, FP. Give us a moment.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's Fat Perez. You know him. You love him. You watch him. You want to be him.
Come on, Joe. Holy shit, Peter. That could go in.
Continuing Bob's history of making pretty famous people pretty comfortable, the Bob Does Sports boys have worked their way into some of the biggest YouTube golf videos of the past few years, despite their golf game being a little all over the place. But they've joined those groups not because of their golf or what they're doing, but because of their unbelievable chemistry and unwavering honesty that makes even the most serious golfers and those trying to put on shows or do a certain thing in their videos fold with laughter. Despite many times playing absolutely terrible golf, these boys are able to put on a show that is arguably more entertaining than anything else on YouTube. Not the journey Grant goes on, the games that Good plays, or the stories that I tell. They've found a way to create this type of content that can exist outside of the sport they are playing and entertain probably all walks of life. Whether you're on a beach in Nantucket, in an office in LA, or a forklift in Oklahoma, you can turn on your TV or computer or what have you to watch these men fool around and have a good time. But most importantly is that they're also incredibly talented and great at what they do. I think it's easy to look past the tact it takes to create an empire online when the characters that have been created are so silly, but I can't look past it because I think they are great. They are the people's champions, the embodiment of what normal golf is for a lot of people. And to see it done so well in this day and age with such high production quality and serious content, well, it's just great to see. But now jump to this video to learn more about the bizarre rise of Grant Horvat, and thank you for watching.